Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty show. We're going to talk a little Giants baseball. They lost today 6-0 to the Milwaukee Brewers, dropping 2 of 3 to the Brewers and completing a 2-4 road trip. I'm going to go ahead and call time of death on the Giants 2024 season, but that doesn't mean they don't still have a lot to play for. Yes, they are not officially eliminated. They are about, 8 back in the wild card in the loss column currently to Atlanta, and they don't hold the tiebreaker. They're down to 27 games, I believe. They're under 500. It's over, guys. But this is a video that we are here to talk about a lot of positive things about the Giants, and I think why there's reason for optimism in 2025. Now, I know there's still 27 games left. Not a lot of people want to kind of talk about next season, and there's been a lot of negatives out there. I've certainly shared my fair share of it, as well as some of the guys that come on the show. We've all been frustrated. We've all spewed that, but we're going to hear, we're going to talk a little bit about the positives and, especially that we can take away from this season. And the main thing of that is that it finally feels like there is a young core taking its place in San Francisco. Um, I'm not going to quite compare them to the 2009 team. The 2009 team had more top end talent. You had, Timmy was winning his Cy Youngs, Kane, and Kane was a really good up and coming starting pitcher who, maybe you compare him a little bit to Logan Webb, but certainly better, higher rated, however you want to look at it, than guys like Harrison or Birdsong so far, more proven at least at that time. And guys like Jonathan Sanchez were throwing the ball really well, and they had Mad Bum kind of coming up, and then among the position player groups, they had Buster Posey coming up, which for the Giants, you look at their current farm system and you see a guy like Bryce Eldridge. But where the parallels I feel lie for this current team is you do see that young core, and they actually have guys that are kind of establishing themselves in all aspects of the game. In the starting rotation, obviously you have Logan Webb, who's going to be 28 next season, and then you have Kyle Harrison, who's going to be 23. Birdsong is going to be 23 next season. In the lineup, you have guys like Patrick Bailey behind the plate, who will be, I think, 26 next season. Tyler Fitzgerald at shortstop, he'll be 27. Maybe they move him to second base or something if they go and sign a shortstop, but he'll be in the infield. He's 27. In the outfield, you have Elliot Ramos, who's going to be 25, Jung Hoo Lee, who's going to be 26. Grant McCray is going to be 24 next season. If they do bring Luis Matos up, he's going to be 23. But I mean, you're having these players kind of up and down the field, which is encouraging in all levels of the field as well. And then also even in the bullpen, where you have young players like Randy Rodriguez and Eric Miller really having themselves nice seasons. And then you look in Sacramento and you have more young talent that looks like it's coming in the pen. Guys like Reggie Crawford and Tyler Merrick look like they might potentially be impactful next season. Um, Also, you have guys down in high A, Trent Harris, who I think is going to rocket through the system next season. He's really impressive as a bullpen arm. So I look at this team and I see a lot of positive things that we can still take from this season, even when it's been a frustrating season, even when, Bob Melvin's kind of mismanaged a lot of things and they couldn't, contribute situational hitting at various times. They were really poor in those situations, runners on third and less than 2 outs. They really struggled to get guys in this season. They've lost probably 10 games where either Melvin mismanaged it or the team just simply didn't get a runner in from third with less than 2 outs. Just really, really basic stuff, running into extra outs on the base paths. Like, this has just been a team that's found ways to beat itself so many times this season. And this is where I look at it. And, part of that is, yes, they built a flawed roster. Like, Farhan didn't build a perfect roster that's built to necessarily be great situationally. He has a bunch of guys up and down the lineup that are really, a lot of swing and miss. So you're going to end up in situations like they've had this season. But it does make it feel as if the gap isn't as large as you'd expect. They're sitting one game under 500 right now. They've been around 500 for a large chunk of the season. I don't think they've ever been more than 6 games under 500, and they've never been more than 3 games over 500 at any point this season. But if we feel like they've lost 10 games due to, like I said, poor coaching, poor situational hitting, that's the difference between, you win those 10 games. That's the difference between being a 500 team and being a 90 win team. So to me, like, the gap is not that big. And you have a young core in place. I do think they need to kind of change the organizational philosophy on how they're going to attack next season. Yes, would it be great to go get a Juan Soto or Vladimir Guerrero Jr. via trade or something like that? Get that true impact bat. Absolutely. This team desperately needs it. But if you're not going to land that guy, change the way you're playing. Let's stop with this mid to slightly above average power and trying to make guys, hope they can have career years in a ballpark that's not conducive to that. Let's go get let's lean in on speed. Let's lean in on defense and try and create runs that way and wreak havoc that way. We've seen the impact a guy like Tyler Fitzgerald can have with his legs. I'm not talking about the power. Obviously, he's shown that. We've seen the impact Grant McCray can have with his legs. Yes, he's hit 3 home runs and limited at bats too. But like, we've seen the impact these guys can have with their legs, creating runs or at least creating opportunities. Yes, the team hasn't always cashed them in, but creating those opportunities. So, let the young guys play and then get a little more contact in the lineup. Yes, Jung-Hoo Lee is going to help that next season. Maybe Luis Matos figures it out. He's an option. A guy like Ha-Seong Kim, he's an option. He's a bat control guy. Yes, he doesn't hit for a great average. He puts the ball in play. These are guys that would be great in situational at bats where you just need to get a guy in from third that the team has struggled so much in. So, go that route. To me, speed, contact, and then, obviously the defense is much improved this season. I think it'll continue to get better next season as Lee returns. It's a lot up in the air. We don't know if Chapman's going to be back. We don't know if Blake Snell's going to be back. If those guys are both back, it's going to be a huge boost towards, hopefully being competitive. Few bullpen guys that maybe will be back, like Tristan Beck, who I think is very underrated. I've said it many times. He's a super underrated player. And then we've got 27 games. So let's see if some of these other young guys can kind of step up a little bit. They put Thairo Estrada on waivers. If he gets claimed, which I actually do think he will, get either put Schmidt out there every day or put Luciano out there every day. Just play one of these guys every single day for the rest of the season. And let's just see how they look. That's kind of where I'm at. Luciano's finally heating up in AAA. Maybe you get him a look. Maybe he finally is kind of figuring it out. He has like an 850 OPS in the second half down there. So he's finally getting going. He's playing with a lot more edge down in AAA. For those of you that have watched, the hustle's been great. He showed a lot. He had a home run yesterday, had a ton of emotion coming around first. It's good to see that because he's kind of always had that, kind of laissez-faire, laid back personality. Sometimes I think a guy needs a little bit of a fire under him, and not every guy is going to be that. You don't want guys to be something they're not, but I kind of always wanted to see a little bit more emotion or edge out of the guy, and he's showing it lately, and his play has been, backing it up. So it's been really good to see. So yeah, this is just, I wanted to put this out there. Like I said, there's been a lot of negative, and it's frustrating. We all want to see the Giants do well. It's easy to dwell on that. I'm certainly not like happy with the season. Obviously, you guys have seen a lot of the content I put out. There's a lot of frustration there, but I wanted to put something out there to, focus on, the good that we can actually take away from this season, even though it's not necessarily been what we had all hoped. So as always, I appreciate all the support from everybody. If you do enjoy the content, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get ourselves to 700 by the end of the season. We're, kind of pushing up towards that. We're, I think, at 655-ish, something like that. And then tomorrow night, I don't have an exact time yet, but tomorrow night will be the live show. Hopefully Dan and Ricky will be joining me for that. So come check that out. I'll try and when we get a time figured out, I'll try and post something on my X account at EYD Show down in the bottom left of the screen. Follow me there. So appreciate it, everybody. Go Giants, and we will catch you all tomorrow night.